They tryna turn Trenton into Baby Flint. Been signs by depression on the billboards ever since. 100 years ago we was lynched. Now they use germ warfare to kill us. I'm convinced, got the evidence. I look around and it's evident. Then go down to City Hall and see so much negligence. Real art is intelligent. A true artist sends messages that speak to your intelligence. They fought and died so I can do my thing. Not to get drunk and high or join no gang. I will not let none of you die in vain. For my people I bang, bang, bang. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. They say post-traumatic slavery disorder's fake, but I just tell them all to wake up. Everything we went through, what a way down a rape, bro. Isn't all genetic makeup. So I am my ancestors from block to block. Let's build like it's Tetris. We must unite, link up like a necklace. They fought and died and we disrespected. So I come to correct it. The legacy they left I protected. We only think about self and neglected. You're African but yet you rejected. No, my ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. I do. I go.
Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Brother Deen, here with...
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Marsha here.
Wa alaikum assalam, everyone. Peace and blessings, everybody. It's Imam Bilal Hassan here as well, tuned in live to New Freedom Exchange, same place, same dial, New Freedom Network now. You know what I mean? So we're evolving into a network. So much more content, newer content on the way. But we're very grateful for to be here, to be in the present moment. And we're forever grateful to all of our listeners and supporters as well, from afar and from local. And we ask, as always, for people to share the live stream, share. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, New Freedom Exchange. Like the page, New Freedom Exchange, and welcome. And if you are tuned in, let us know where you're tuning in from, so we can shout you out. And as always, Sister Khadija is always the first one here. Assalamu alaikum. You know, she's always here. She's the number one fan, the number one supporter of New Freedom Exchange. So we're very grateful for her, as always, for the love and appreciation, and all the shares, by the way. All the shares. She shares us.
Yeah, she said we had Iranian groups, Ethiopian groups, all around the world.
So we're very appreciative for that. So how's everyone doing today? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. I wound up having a day off today unexpectedly.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean it's alhamdulillah, but it was definitely unexpected. So I went to take my youngest daughter to camp this morning, and we were in the car headed to camp, and the bus driver. It's interesting because I was just about to text the bus driver, and she started to call me, and she says, "Did you drop the baby off at the camp yet?" And I said, "Well, actually, she's the bus attendant, not the driver." And so she asked me, "Did I drop Aaliyah off already?" And I'm like, "No, I'm en route, but if you're close by, I'll let her ride the bus." And she goes, "No, don't you take that baby to that camp. Somebody tested positive for COVID." So the camp closed for the rest of the week. And the camp was just closed all last week because the week before one of the children tested positive.
Wow.
So last week they were closed the entire week. And then this morning, they found out that someone else tested positive. So now they shut down for the rest of the week and he won't be back open till Monday. And my older girls are taking a program at their high school. So I wound up taking off because I needed to be home with my daughter. And normally I would just take her to my sister's, but I felt a certain way about taking her to my sister, not knowing her status. And we had went to get COVID test this morning. So we should know by tomorrow the case. But it's just so interesting. You know, it makes me wonder how we expect to open schools when this is going to seems like this is going to repeatedly happen. My daughter, you know, whether or not I choose to get the vaccine or not, my daughter isn't even of the age where she could get it. So for children of that age, it boggles my mind how we expect to open schools, because this type of thing could potentially happen every week with a large number of children in the school. So we'll see. But I was able to stay home and I worked while I was here. So it was a good day. And for those of you who don't know, I work very closely with the Clyde Muhammad schools. And we, there are a few schools around the country and the Bermuda school, we are taking we're doing some trainings together, and we just finished our strategic planning training today. And that was a really, really good session. So there's some good things to come for the Clyde Muhammad schools around the world, I'll say, because I can't just say the country, because we have Bermuda too. I also run a nonprofit, which I had an information session tonight for a class that I'll be starting in September for early childhood professionals. So it's been a busy day, but it's also been pretty smooth sailing today because I got to do all that stuff from the comfort of my home. How about you all? How's it been for you?
I was going to let you go first. Well, I'm a man of the road.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead, Dean.
yeah, you know, I come across a lot of people as well. Unfortunately, it's not crowds of people, so I kind of keep it safe distance. So yeah, other than that, pretty simple day today. Nothing too fancy. I see you gave us some announcements we're going to share. We could probably do that at the end of the program, but there is a program relating to what you just discussed about reopening schools safely from some of our health professionals. So we're going to share that information with you all shortly.
Right.
Imam Bilal?
Right. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. For me, I working, man. I mean, so for my job, I don't come across that many people neither. Today was processing the food scraps today at one of the food processing sites. Myself, a couple of the staff workers, and just one volunteer, one older lady who comes very, very often to volunteer. So it was less foot traffic today because there was also a public hearing in the city for a Superfund site, which is the Gowanus, one of the Superfund sites in the Gowanus Canal in Brooklyn, which was it was labeled a Superfund site, meaning that it was illegally dumped. A lot of stuff went into the water when it wasn't supposed to go into the water years ago, and it affected the pH and the animal, the marine life, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's been years and years and years of trying to figure out how to restore the Superfund sites like the Gowanus Canal. So today was a public hearing. So a lot of the volunteers from the Gowanus Canal Conservancy, which we share a space, this processing site, my job shares a space with the Department of Sanitation and shares space with the Gowanus Canal Conservancy, which is another not-for-profit that mainly concentrates on the conservancy of the Gowanus Canal, basically. And they have volunteers and they do restoration work and different things like that. So they had a separate public hearing about that and the construction to restore that. Other than that, just been a very interesting week. Just a lot of driving. I drive a lot with this job. I drive a lot with the box truck around the city. So, and you know, the routes can be long some days. Some days I work with my other coworkers and to help them out. And this week and last week was very challenging because a lot of staff members were out not because of COVID, but because they took vacation. and they wanted to use their vacation time before they lose it before the end of the year. A lot of us know about losing your PTO on your anniversary date of when you started working. So they wanted to use it before they lose it. So they went on vacation, and we had to do the 2 processing days. So Queensbridge, which is 1 processing site, and then the other Gowanus Canal site is like the 2nd site. So super busy, lots of work, a little tired, a little body tired, but other than that, pretty good shape, alhamdulillah. Sister Jay said I tested positive for COVID. Alhamdulillah, I'm truly grateful that I'm getting better. Okay, so alhamdulillah, that's good, Sister Jada. We're proud, happy that you made it out of the virus.
Absolutely.
Wa alaikum assalam, Imam Antar Medin.
That's my bestie, y'all.
Antar Medin is in the building, so we have the
AKA
Imam.
Slim Goody.
Oh, Slim Goody. Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's Slim Goody.
I
don't know that name. That's Slim Goody.
Antar has been blessed with a
gotta watch my bestie work.
No, he's doing good. I'm telling you, we need the fitness. We need the Bilalian fitness program. Antar and Imam Yassin, I mean, y'all got it. You, Antar, Hakeem, Hakeem Sabri is working out, so it's like Mustafa as well. So it's like, we need to get together and put together a program that you all can do, even as a short segment, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But anyway, think about it. Today we have a special guest that's in the queue. We don't want to beleaguer our special guest. We have a bio of our special guest that I will be reading. Today's special guest is Imam Mubashir Uqdah, and of the founder of the Study IWDM library. I'm going to read his bio, and he has a lengthy bio, so we're not going to go through all of it. We're going to go through most of it, but not all of it, and he can explain some more if he wants to. Mubashir Uqdah accepted al-Islam at Masjidullah in Plainfield, New Jersey in 1977 under the leadership of Imam Warith D. Muhammad, may Allah forgive Muslims, the Grand Station in Paradise. From the moment he became a Muslim, he has been an avid student of al-Islam as expressed in the commentary of Imam Muhammad, and he has been an active worker in the community of Imam Muhammad. Is some of his current activities, founder of the IWDM Preservation Project as an effort to collect and preserve artifacts, which are audios, videos, and transcripts of the lectures of Imam Muhammad for the benefit of current and future generations of people in America and the world. He's the founder and administrator of the IWDM Study Library, which is a virtual library housing audios, videos, and transcripts of the Imam, teaching for the purpose of preserving, organizing, and authenticating the body of knowledge of Imam Muhammad. He manages a team of between 4 to 6 individuals in the operations of the library. He serves as a special assistant to the conveners of Imams associated with the community of Imam Muhammad. His responsibilities include webmaster of the IWDM community website, which is www.iwdmcommunity.com, and he's the de facto treasurer for the conveners of Imams, lead platform developer for the Islamic Leadership Training and Development Program, which is called ILTDP. He is developing several online courses in the study of the knowledge body of Imam Muhammad. These courses will also comprise one of 3 major training components in the Islamic Leadership Training and Development Program, sponsored by the conveners of Imams. He's the author of 8 books on the language and logic of Imam Muhammad, which could be purchased at www.uqdah.com, uqdah.com, with more books on the way, including a dictionary of the Imam Muhammad's language. He's probably referred to by Imam Muhammad as the doctor of his philosophy. Mubashir is striving hard to be worthy of the reference. He's the owner of Uqdah Enterprise LLC, which provides the book publishing and website development services. And lastly, he's an advisor and a counselor to many Muslims seeking advice and guidance in Imam Muhammad's teachings. So, without no further ado,
hold on. I gotta put a spin on it. We're not gonna allow him to come on here. I was going to break the protocol from the jump, but I had to let you get it out the. But I just want to say this as a real quick. Let me just get this out. I just got to say this real quick. As we can encapsulate all that as this brother is a true brother, a mentor, and so many other things. He's been very vital to me in my development as not just as an individual, but as a man, as a father, and as a leader in our community. So much more. I don't want to get marshmallowish right now, but God willing, we'll have a beautiful discussion. But I had to give that just to be not to be biased when we have our discussion. With no further ado, we'll bring on our dear brother Mubashir Uqdah. Assalamu alaikum.
No, doctor Uqdah.
Doctor, get it right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. You guys are so beautiful and lively, and you know how to relax a person and touch a person's heart at the same time.
You gonna get mushy on us too?
Oh, it's good to be mushy sometimes. You know, it's interesting because I was listening to the music, you know, that was playing as you were opening your show. And I've heard that song before, but that song really touches me, the way it's sung. And it made me think about how, you know, at times when the heart is opened up, all kinds of things can come in. Feelings, thoughts, perceptions, you know, and this is why we pray regularly, because it's to soften the heart, open it up, so that things can come into us and touch us and grow us, right? Soften it. You know, we have to be made, that rock has to be turned into clay so it can be shaped by hopefully what good we let in. And sentiments expressed like Mujahideen, as he said, we have a long relationship. And I mean, young brother has been with me for a long time, working with me in the study library. We couldn't be as far as we are without the help that Mujahideen. And I got stories to tell about him too with the library, you know. I mean, I'm a hard worker, but he put me to shame, I got to tell you. You know, I got to tell a story. I know it's I'm jumping the gun a bit, but I got to say this, you know, when I was working on this, I went and ordered this high-powered, high-speed cassette converter in order to convert the piles of tapes that we have to MP3 format. And you know, this thing will take a 90-minute tape and convert it in 5 minutes. So Mujahideen was a big helper of mine, and we had a van load of tapes from Imam Armai Newman in Jersey City, and his wife Zakiya Newman preserved that work. And so we had to duplicate. I mean, Armai was one of our first, if not the first collector who organized the material. It was a basement load of materials. And so I got this high-speed recorder, and I'm taping. Mujahideen was baking bean pies, and he was doing some converting using a regular real time. So to do a cassette tape, converted 90-minute tape, took him 90 minutes. But he was outdoing me with the high-speed recorder. He was doing more tapes than me. I just decided I'm going to give him the high-speed recorder and let him do the work, because he put me to shame. So he's
I had some of that Iron Man juice.
Yeah, Iron Man juice, Starks. Bean pie, you know, sitting there. But believe me, he has been such an inspiration to me, you know, a big helper.
Alhamdulillah.
So I'll thank you. Great young man I've gotten to know.
Alhamdulillah.
So talk to us about this library. I mean, for those, we know about the library, and so and obviously, you know, Mujahideen knows a lot about the library, and that you say your relationship goes really far back. But for those viewers who are with us, tell us about the library. Tell us how it all got started, what's your goal with it, all of that.
Yeah, well, it was interesting when I saw the agenda that you guys, some of the questions you wanted to ask. I actually was thinking about that. And I realized that this really started a long time ago, even before, working on the concrete library itself. I, early on as a young man, I think I came in, I was 20 years old when I became a Muslim. And there's a story behind me even becoming a Muslim, but it had to do with me coming into contact with Imam Muhammad's knowledge. I was in college at the time, and I'm studying all these philosophers, and I'm studying, the different African American scholars, because growing up in the 60s, I was very troubled and disturbed. Like everybody back at that time, we wanted our people to be equal and to achieve and show our excellence. And everybody, I think, was trying to look for the solutions to our problems. And I was doing the same. But most of the African American scholars who had proposed different solutions, they were really, to me, they were just carbon copies of what Caucasian scholars had done, until I heard Imam Muhammad. And I had been studying anthropology and sociology. So when I was listening to his teaching, I realized, for me, I felt and believed that we could truly build an independent-based community and society where no one could claim it was just a carbon copy of what they had. And so I stuck with that. And so when I came in and started listening to the lectures, I was collecting tapes, centerfold articles, taking all the notes, and realized I've been doing that since I came in, because I wanted to see what the overall system was in his teaching. And so we were collecting them. I had a good friend at AT&T who she had access to all of the at that time, the high fast printers, and I would collect the Muslim Journal articles, and we would go up to AT&T and copy those lectures, and I'd put them into notebooks. And at any rate, so we did this collection. Some people had dictionaries that they had started putting together. I would do exchanges with them way back then and preserve that material. So to get that view and understand what his system of teaching was all about. So at any rate, so as time went on, we did this. But when the internet became popular, many people started forming, not many, a few of us started forming Yahoo groups and online programs, and starting to share the Imam's teachings online. I was amongst those early folks, and I had the list of names, and I hope to one day, I have some of it published on this Study Library website, but I hope to share what, in my experience, there were people collecting all over the country, but a lot of people contributed. There were people who, like Nasheed Abdul Rahman, who was one of the first, if not the first one, who knew how to take the technology and do the conversions of people's tapes. And people would send their tapes to him, and he would convert them for them and then send them back. So we'd have things digitized. I can't say enough about Leslie Taha, who was the founder and the administrator of New Africa Radio. He's been working with me from the very, very beginning, and is still helping out with us a great deal. And I mean, one of the most selfless, humble people you could ever run into, and hard worker. We worked together and collaborated, and I can't thank him enough. And he's so humble. I want to show my appreciation sometimes, and I can't do it. He just says, "No, brother, no." Keeps me at bay, which is wonderful. And Yahya Muldrow, who had the language commentaries of Imam WD Muhammad, your father Bilal, Muhammad Hassan, and Abdul Rauf Mustafa. They were one of the first out there that was playing the Imam's tapes, and had formed groups for us to join and have discussions around the Imam's language. And of course, many others who I wasn't immediately in contact with, but later on down the road, these individuals, we started talking, because there were a lot of social media sites then, some talking politics, some with the Imam's language. We had email networks. And so there was discussion about how to work together to collect and put all these things together. During those discussions, the idea of a collection and making a collection, a resource available to folks was there. I was looking at a letter. I wrote to the group back in, it was on July 22nd, 2006, proposing a way that we could all do this, and laying out a type of plan. Didn't work quite that way. However, we continued to collect. And then eventually, I believe, I always knew that at that time, we're going to build a library of some sort to preserve the Imam's language. And then I have to go back and check, but I remember then after he passed, for sure, I probably was already in motion of collecting things, but then we really began to form the library because we knew we had to preserve the knowledge body. We knew that there were a lot of the Imam's teachings that, it's vast, over 33 years. And those of us who were fortunate and blessed enough to be with him, we know what we saw, we know what we heard. And we can't let it get away from us. And there's so much of it that it's amazing how much you can miss. And the library documents it. And there were periods of time. For example, there was one period of time, the Imam's early lectures, some of the language in those lectures may have been a little too raw for what we would say now. And there was actually an effort to say all of the materials that he gave at that time, put it away. No more. Nothing after, 19, whatever year. Imam may have even tried to caution people about it himself. But there was an effort there. But I never bought into that. Even though I know now we're more cautious of how we use language, more intelligent about it. But the truth of it and the wisdom of it is still there. And it was the period of time when the transition was going on, which was transforming us into the kind of thinking we have today. And so we can't lose that period. That's the gemstone period. So back to your point, Sister Marsha, history-wise, I knew we had to collect it. There were things happening in the community with challenges to the Imam's tafsir, his commentary, some of his ideas, and answers to many of our problems. I believed that those answers are in that commentary. The responses to some of the criticisms are in the commentary. And we have to preserve that body of knowledge so that it's it's like a big resource there that we can go to and find and search and pull out the things we need to respond to every challenge that we have. And his commentary on the Quran, as he used to say one time, he didn't have time to explain everything because, he wasn't just sitting down like a scholar. He had to lead a community. He had to transform a community, get it on the right track, then try to get us to understand what he was teaching and the gravity of it, because it is not kindergarten stuff you just could ordinarily pick up and say in 5 minutes, okay, that's what it is. And he had to try to make sure he planted seeds well enough for them to come alive in some of us so they would continue in the next generation. And so this library, I knew that we also had to try to document the dates and times as much as possible, because that was going to become important in the future. So while many of us were collecting materials and doing transcripts, many were doing it for dawah purposes. But the library is unique in that we have focused on structure, format, and preserving dates wherever we could get them. And we don't separate, like take excerpts out unless that's all we have. But we try to keep the whole transcript. And that way things can be in context, where they need to be. And I believe that going forward, as we meet challenges, we'll be able to go into that well of resources and come out with all kinds of discoveries that we can then build upon. And so, yeah, with the help of many, many people, I had an email network. It was really powerful and popular in New Jersey. And we had networks in a variety of parts of the country. And we wanted to connect them together. And what it did was people would post their activities and people would know about things. You know, we didn't have Facebook at the time or anything like that. Eventbrite wasn't there. Very popular, but I had a fortune of luck in a sense, or a blessing, if we will. The network was becoming very busy, and there were other things I had to do. So when I started the library, the first 2 years, you know, it was just open in the public. And then I decided we were going into the transcript phase. I was just uploading tapes before, converting them and uploading them, getting them in the library. But at some point we needed to start transcribing them so we could do the research. We tried it ourselves. I don't know, Mujahid Deen, I don't know if you took a hand at that, but we tried doing it ourselves, and not going to happen. You know, we would never get anything finished. So we asked for donations after 2 years. We got for over 2 years, we got 8 donations, and I was glad for them. But then we had to be careful because there were some difficulties going on around intellectual property issues. And so what we had to do, we took the library off the public internet to respect the as much as we could the intellectual property issues. But yet at the same time, the project had to go on, so we revamped it as a private project. And I wanted to keep the little 8 donors we had because at least we could get some transcripts done. But that turned out to grow, and many people started joining and subscribing. And now it's hard to keep up with the regularity of the donations. So we're working. So without the people joining and helping, people like Mujahideen and others, the library wouldn't be what it is today.
So what do you say, Mubaashir? And thank you for that that succinct history of the study IWDM library. For those, I think it gave a nice background in terms of where how the library started and etc. So where do you see the library going in the short term over the next year to 3 years? What do you see it going?
So there are two major things happening. One is that we have to continue. I still have a house load of tapes. I have probably 10 or 15 digitized collections where they're digitized now, but I have to go through them to see if they need to be transcribed. There's a big whole process with that. So we're just continuing on as fast as we can to get things transcribed and in the library, continue to digitize, continue to check for duplicates. I built a database so we could log and track things. We used to do it in Excel spreadsheets, and then I got to where I could create the database for it. So we can check for duplicates. And I have all the files organized systematically by dates. For those with no date, they have their own particular folder. And it's just a long administrative process to do all those things, keep them organized. And so I'm going to continue what we have to do. There's so much more to converting them to digital format, organizing them, structuring them, formatting them with the naming format we use, checking for duplications. A lot of the files, of course, are bad quality. They have problems in there, and sometimes they can't be transcribed. I have to work on cleaning those files so they can be transcribed, and then uploading into the library. I have a team of brothers and sisters who do the quality checks, because the transcription companies make mistakes. So members of our own community, once we get the transcripts, they get sent out to the different individuals who review the transcripts and make further corrections, and then upload them into our template and then into the library. That's a major thing. It's going to go on. I'll be dead. I hope I can find someone who has the motivation, the determination, and the desire to inherit this work. I've been trying to corral your brother over here the same way Salim Mutman corralled you, but he's a radio star now. I don't know if I can get him for the drab work of doing the library work, sitting here at the desk all day long, just looking at. He's had about 10 years of doing that, so I don't know if he wants to. He might have a little more adventurous projection, project ahead. He got a bigger future. But he was so dedicated, I had to almost push him away for a while. I said, "Go ahead, man, go do what you got to do." He was going to stick to it. That's how I did it. But anyway, the second major thing is that I'm actually in the process of creating a new website on a new platform. The primary reason is security purposes, security, flexibility, and protection. The platform we use, one thing I found out about these platforms, they tell you can do this, unlimited that, until you reach their real limit. Then all of a sudden, other factors come in, and that's happened twice. This will be the third time I have to rebuild the whole library on another platform, but I think we'd be okay this time. But it's going to take about a year, I believe, because I have to take, right now we have about 2,600 files in the library. I'll have to re-upload each one of those individually, make sure they display in the format that we set up and so forth, and figure out how I'm going to connect the database to it and all that. So we're working on that. Those are the two major things that are in the short run. Just we got to keep plugging away. I don't believe I'm not even 50%. What we got in the library now is not even 50% of what I have to go through. So
wow.
It's going to be quite a while. So those are the two main things. But I will tell you, we've had people contact me who are researching things on Imam Muhammad, and they want to gain access to the library. Some scholars, some from overseas, and others, and they're doing research, serious research, and it can serve as a primary source. And because not only once you have the transcripts, if you have the name, now if you, the transcripts are going to come from an audio or a video. So you can do the searching in the transcript, find what you're looking for, but then you can say, all right, what document was this in? Find the name, and then go find the video or the audio and actually hear it and listen to it yourself. That way you get the feel of it and everything, and it corroborates your research. So it's going to be very valuable for all going forward. The more we get in there, we just pray it's going to be a big well, a Zamzam well for all who are interested in the Imam's commentary.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes. So another thing about the future, it's already happening. So because this is an institution that is built and it exists and it's functioning, we know Imam Salim Mutman of Mali has built an institution, and it's functioning and it's working and producing. And so now we have a collaboration, because he's showing his students how to go into the Quran, into the Arabic of the Quran, and learn things, and then go to the library to find the transcripts of lectures so they can compare where Imam Muhammad talk is, or concepts come from, in the Arabic of the Quran. And so we have a relationship, an arrangement that allows now one institution to work with another institution. And of course, some of those students have joined the library independently, and that those donations help keep us building what we're doing. And just recently, we know Imam Rashad Abdul Rahman has a program, and he has a very successful program in the Imam's language, and he's working hard. Just recently, we just literally within the last few days made an agreement and a connection, and now his students can do their research as well and utilize the library as he's working with them, and that's working. And I believe as you build institutions in these parts, these working parts, then there's something to connect to, like what you guys are doing. People have, we've had these kind of shows before. And there was Brother William Kareem, I think maybe you know him, but he had a program once. And at one time, we were trying to connect all of the media groups that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the thing is, if you build these programs, now it takes people to hold them down. It takes people to stay with something for it to grow, build, and then become stable, and then perhaps attracts others to come behind them. But once you have those, they can connect and they can support and feed one another. And then this creates a new womb, a different kind of womb out of which who knows what growth or life will come. And so if you stay with something and you connect it, you have a little tour route going right through all of the media outlets, for your content, and then that's how we grow a real community. Then when we get new people interested in us, well, you can go check out Study Islam, New Africa Exchange. You can go over here, you can go there. Now they have a life. They can get into this activity or something to join and connect to until they get the good orientation and get a solid foundation of what we're trying to do.
Excellent, excellent. So as you gave us your short-term, long-term goals as an institution, how can the community be of assistance to you? We know that this wasn't, you mentioned some of it early on, as far as those who came on early on, and I guess you also alluded to it, but we know this is not a simple operation, right? It's a complex operation, and not to say we don't accept anyone to join the efforts, but there is a focus and there is a standard, a quality of standard that we promote. So can you talk about those who can help and what type of people will be interested, that you'll be interested in joining this effort?
Yes, indeed. So of course we're always helpful to have new members that subscribe, because you have people who join, and most of our members have stayed for quite some time, but sometimes you lose members. So it's always good to have new members. And we want as many people as possible to then be able to take advantage of the library and do their study and get that grasp of the Imam's language. So new transcribers or subscribers is critical. We have quality reviewers, and we could use some more quality reviewers. My dilemma a little bit is that in terms of managing what I do in the background in order to prepare things that are given to the reviewers, then when I get them back, there are things I have to do. I really need to find the person who's going to be the inheritor, and then I can trust to work in the background with me, and they won't destroy anything. I did have a guy I had two people that had helped me in the background before, both of well-intentioned, very good, but one of them, he had some technical skills, but not quite as much as he needed. And so there were some mistakes that were made in the background. Fortunately, they weren't deadly, but we were able to correct them and fix them. But that is something I have to be very careful of, because when you have people in the background, they can They can cause serious damage. So I'm very, very not sure of how I'm going to do that yet. I had another gentleman who I thought who had the technical skills. Also, you need to have the knowledge of the Imam. You have to have a good grasp of his language. This person had both these qualities, and he may at some point come back, but he was he had found some new success, I would say, and therefore, he had to take care of his life, and so that new success took him away, so he couldn't really be active. But he had the ingredients that I needed, except for ability to put the time in, and stay with it. So candidates, referrals of people who have some technical skills and have a grasp of the Imam's language, we can show and train if they have the desire, but can they go do the, put the time into the work? So quality reviewers, I could use more of them so we could go faster. But honestly, my fear is, can I keep up? Because I have to prepare the transcripts to give to the folks. So we could use some more quality reviewers. I've had some that have worked. They've come and go, as you know, Mujahideen. While we all love Imam Muhammad, it is a tedious task. You have to be able to sit down and you have to listen to a 60-minute tape or a 90-minute tape. You have to follow along. It's easier now because we have editors that you read along with, right? The plays and you read along with, and then you can just stop it and make the correction right there. We pay pretty good, though, I must say. We pay $1 a minute, and if you have time, you can make a few bucks. It's a good part-time job, but you do have to have good knowledge of the Imam's language as a quality reviewer. I've had a few and very intelligent people who could read and write and everything, but they just didn't have the background of the Imam's language. So there were important things that they missed. So that's a challenge. So I always will be keeping my eye out for reviewers. So we welcome reviewers, and I myself will try to keep up. June of next year, I'm going to retire. That should help a lot. And lastly, I'm working on this online learning program, and that has taken up a lot of time too. Once I get my baseline set, hopefully by, this year will be, then I'll have more time to do more myself.
Alhamdulillah, excellent. I mean, I know Sister Marsha and Bro Deen want to say something.
I just was going to say that, I love just sitting back and listening to you talk about the library because, as you're talking, I'm just like, may Allah reward you for all, just being able to do this, being able to have the dedication to do this, the mind, the heart, the spirit to do this, because without this, history falls to the wayside. And I think that sometimes we're unconscious of how important it is to preserve this type of information. Because this was an experience unlike any other. When we talk about Imam Muhammad, his language, when we talk about even, going before him, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the transition and our people and our experiences as African American Muslims in this country, it was an experience like no other. So to not preserve it would be a disservice to everyone who made a sacrifice, and so many people made a sacrifice.
Indeed. It's a great point. And I just would like to make a very short point on top of that. In terms of motivation for me.
Go ahead.
It is not, my motivation actually is not really driven by preserving the past. It is because of what I can see the future could be out of this material, out of this knowledge body. And having it here and available and making some roadways so that it will be easier for the next generation to build it and create it. And that is what drives my heart, because it needs to be here so that the next steps can be taken. And I just want to emphasize, it's dedicated individuals that hold up institutions. When the dedicated, that's why you hear in the society, they say so much, oh, the such and such families control that, or, the Kennedys control that, or this family control that. We usually hear it in connection with the conspiracy, the Rothschilds control that, or, the Rockefellers control that. But it is individuals that collect together and they stay the course, and then they make it something grow. And that's what holds it. Once those people go away, things will fall. And so whatever you're doing, you got to stay with something to build it and make it manifest, no matter whether you get people with you or not. People come and people go, but the leadership of whatever group, business, organization has to be willing to go forward, to the end.
I mean, I think that's such a crucial point, Mubaashir. I think that's such a crucial point. And commitment and conviction, as Sister Jada has said in the comment section, and that's something that we have to have in transition, being able to transition in terms of the passing of the torch, the passing of the guard, if you would, in order to preserve these institutions.
Right.
We heard Imam Salim last week and yourself say that when you guys retire or whenever, there's no such thing as retirement. Imam told us there's no such thing as retirement. We're always working. We're not tired, but there is a level of transition that has to take place, between the generations, because you yourself and others have done such an extraordinary job with this work, and we can utilize all hands on deck from other community members, young and old, to participate in these institutions to help hold them up, as they've been doing now, but going forward for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, to longevity wise, sustainable wise, it takes time, and also takes manpower,
yes,
to hold up institutions like this. So we definitely appreciate you sharing your commentary and your story with us today. And we would like to bring up 2 comments before we close out, 2 ideas that came in the chat from 2 community members. One, our good brother here, Assalamu alaikum assalam. This is our brother Ishmael Fahimi from Dallas, Texas. One of our classmates in Imam Rashad's class. He says, Assalamu alaikum. Has anyone addressed you about creating an NFT to fund your project, meaning the Study IWDM library?
Not really. We have I did have an individual one time interested in doing that, or so I thought. I took the labor to calculate, to use a formula to calculate and project what it would take at that time to convert all of what we had in the library. How much would it cost? And projected what the larger amount would be over a period of time. I submitted to the individual, but I didn't hear much back from him after that. So no, I haven't gone down that road just yet. I did go to get I started the 501c3, but didn't complete it. I need to go back and complete that.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, Aki. You're staring at the 501c3 guru on the top left of the corner.
Is that so?
Yes. If you need me, I'm here. I am here.
Okay.
All this time that Bilal has known me, I just had to school him on the fact that my master's degree is in nonprofit management. So
wow.
Yeah, wow. So it's a public administration master's degree. So If you need assistance with getting the 501c3, you have me.
Hey, I don't mind paying for it. So we'll talk about it. And I can give you what I already had, and maybe you could just go ahead and get me across the finish line.
You got it.
Sounds like a plan.
So that's how we do it. And Ishmael, find me if you want to tap it, because I know you're into the NFTs and the crypto. I think our brother Yahya Fanusi as well is into that. I mean, if we can set something up too, if y'all and get y'all.
Well, I do have some. I do have some stocks right now that I'm sitting on, waiting for them to come back up. I've had my great times. One time I had people saying, "Hey, man, I'm gonna hire you to manage my stocks," but I'm like, "Oh no," I'm still relatively new, but yeah, I've been paying attention to a little bit of that, but I haven't gone that route. Yes.
Indeed, so
great.
One last suggestion. This is just from Sister Jada. She's Dr. Mubashir. Have you put out any marketing flyers for these positions? She's talking about the quad years that's needed for the institution.
Yes. So I've done that in the past, right? So we have, when I've needed someone, there have been times when we were down and I needed some. So I do send out invitations, job applications actually, and I get some responses. Right now I have 1, 2, 3. Right now I have 4 individuals doing it, 4 very good individuals. So I haven't had to recruit anyone else for a while, long as my troops don't get too busy, wink, wink, Mujahideen, wink, wink.
I got you.
Every now and then they take a little vacation, I got to go call them up and make sure they didn't catch COVID. But I have a really great crew right now. But inshallah, that is what I do when we do need more people. I have almost probably 5,000 Facebook friends, so now that's the way we advertise these days. But that's a great suggestion, and I appreciate that, a recommendation.
Yeah, I think it could be a great start, to add a few more hands, despite the hands that you already have, just even if they're you have committed, and then you can have standby if you need other people to step in. Say, for instance, Mujahideen it gets super busy. You don't have to track down Mujahideen. So I'm saying you can call upon someone. Call upon someone else. Mujahideen's always moving.
No,
I got something for y'all. I'm gonna give y'all one to drop the mics in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep it up. Mujahideen is the star. I'll tell you, he's the star. I'm joking with him because he is the star. I'll tell you.
Alhamdulillah. Well, we appreciate you, Dr. Mubashir, for all your work, your tireless service, your selfless service to this community. May Allah reward you and protect you and guide you. Continue to make give you barakat that will last from now until the journey to the Firdaus. And because this is serious, man. This archiving work is no joke.
You're right.
Serious work. And if other people can archive for, you think about it, like if we can't archive for our leader, then we're technically doing a disservice to our leader. So we cannot properly archive and properly set up a system to whereas our community and those who are not familiar with the Imam can be pointed to the direction where they can familiarize themselves with the Imam and his language, then we're doing ourselves a disservice.
Yes,
we have to take on this task, and we're happy that we have brothers and sisters to help Dr. Mubashir with this task, because it's not a one man can't do it. Like you just heard it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that it is a lot that goes into archiving and preservation. It's not like, okay, upload and that's it. No, you got to clean stuff up. Audio may be bad here. You got to do this. You got to do that. There is levels to this. And if people can either financially pitch in and become a subscriber to the library, that would be helpful. If those who want to be quality reviewers, please feel free to get in contact with us, or get in contact with Mubashir Uqdah directly, or we can get in contact with us through New Freedom Exchange. This platform, we can forward you to Brother Mubashir Uqdah, so you can carry forth the conversation. It is, and those who have ideas about how we can better this institution and strengthen it and continue to prosper it, put it all forward, because this is the place for it. But we thank you, Mubashir Uqdah, for your commitment and your conviction and your just drive over the years to keep it going, man. I don't know how you do it, but I don't know if you've been eating bean pies that Muhajirin been making, or
they have helped at times.
You have a secret stash somewhere, Mubashir, a little greedy,
Yes, alhamdulillah. Indeed. Well, thank you all very much. It's been wonderful being with you and talking with you. I pray that all those in the audience, may Allah bless you all, and everyone take a task and handle the task, as the old folks used to say. Take a post and then manifest and grow it into a field. So we can have a beautiful garden as a community. Well, thank you so much. Ameen.
Sister Marsha, Brother Deen, you have some closing remarks, brief remarks? That's my closing remark.
Yeah, no, this was an excellent interview. I am glad that our viewers got to hear all the ins and outs of the library, the things that Mubashir was able to share with us this evening. I would encourage you all to subscribe. I would encourage you, if you have the time, the commitment, and the skill set, because it's important to have the skill set. And as he also mentioned, have the connection to the language of the Imam. If you have those things, please reach out to him so that we can have this thing to go where it needs to go and beyond. But it's just good for me to sit back and listen to a great thing happen, developing, manifesting.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran.
Excellent. Now we all been waiting for. No, it's been a pleasure and honor for you to join us and share with us your work, your role in the work. We know when we look at other institutions and organizations that there are always those unsung heroes, those early founders that some people tap into to continue that spirit, right? Because as you mentioned, what holds up institutions is individuals. And so as far as myself, while you give me the salute, and others who will come to know my impact and my continued impact with this project, know that as a star, as high as it goes, it also can fall that deep as well, right? And so we have been tested in our personal life and our development, and Allah has allowed us to continue to hold fast with our faith and push forward. And we're not mujahideen for no reason. Those things that you see overseas that's going on with our brothers, our Muslim brothers, in the physical, we have experienced those similarly with our mental and our spiritual struggle. And so with that, we'll close out. We do have some announcements that we want to share with you all. Oh, but real quick. This was the drop the mic.
Oh yeah, gosh, you dropped the mic.
Yeah, this is drop. I forgot. So New Freedom itself, right? New Freedom itself, it's a 3-stage development, right? We call it claim your inheritance, attain your inheritance, and maintain your inheritance. And so with everything that we're involved in, that's what we do. So we already claimed ours, we are already attaining ours, and we continue to maintain ours. So that's what that's about. But we do thank you. So we do have a couple announcements. Our dear sister, the Queen of New Freedom Exchange, she's being honored coming up. Can you see that flyer? You'd like to share that flyer information?
Yeah. So we have, you're invited to an evening of elegance. It's going to be honoring our hardworking women in our community. It'll be held at the Robert Treat Hotel in the Crystal Ballroom in Newark, New Jersey on September the 18th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Our guest speaker will be Imam Siraj Wahaj. And we have a list of honorees, myself included, women who are worthy of the honor, more worthy than myself, for the work that they have
Come on,
done in
sister.
the
You're worthy. You're
community.
worthy. You're just as worthy. Can we stop it?
No, there are some pioneers on this list that
Of course,
definitely
of
I
course,
salute for sure.
of course.
But it is hosted by Masjid Mohammed Newark. The tickets are $100. This is an in-person event. If you're not able to attend, we ask you that you sponsor a ticket, or if you just want to make a donation, you can do that as well. Our cash app is $ Masjid Mohammed Newark, and it should be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm honored to be honored, and I mean, I do this work just because it's just who I am. So I imagine that that's the case for the other sisters who are being honored as well. But join us if you can. And on a Friday, Imam Siraj is also going to be doing the Juma Khutbah too.
Excellent, excellent. Also, another sister in our community down in the south. So that was from the north. We have in the south, Sister Jada, who was just joining us. Bilal, you like to share this information? You're on mute.
Sorry. This is the Young Adults Community Talks and Game Night, which will be held in Atlanta, Georgia. The Green Re-Entry Village in Georgia. That's 2139 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. That's in Atlanta, Georgia. September 18th from 5 to 8:30 p.m. There will be food, music, cash prizes, and the theme of what this is Our Community, Our Responsibility, sponsored by the Muslim Mix, Iman, which is Inter Muslim Action Network, and ages are 18 to 35 are welcome.
All right, all right. And then last but not least, this coming Saturday, we have one of our other pioneers in our community, a childhood friend of Imam Muhammad. Imam Darnell Kareem will be our guest on New Africa Talks, our show that's hosted here on New Freedom Networks from New Africa Intelligentsia. And that theme is we have sent it down as an Arabic Quran in order that you may learn wisdom. This will be a talk on the importance of reading the Quran in Arabic, as we just heard in our previous episode with Imam Salim Mu'min and the Mali Institute. We want to get off of the plantation of translation.
We do have one more announcement. Did we
one
miss
more?
It?
Okay.
Yeah, we missed it.
That was actually
schools.
Yeah, that was actually going on now. You guys can still catch on. I think it's a Zoom. We'll put that in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's going on now. Yes.
Yeah, that's going on now.
Yeah,
they might have a recording as well.
Yeah, that's with one of our own, Dr. Jihan Abdul Haq, out of Atlanta. I think she's out of Atlanta, Georgia too. She's a pediatrician that I do know. She's one of our health experts on the Muslim Health Consortium, and they're presenting on the reopening of schools safely in our community. So that is ongoing now, but I'm sure this will be replayed, and I'm sure there will be more conversations like this in the coming days about schools reopening, with school right around the corner. So please get with Dr. Jihan Abdul Haq. She's one of our premier scholars in the medical field as it relates to these type of issues. So we have to rely on our own community as resources, because we do have them, our doctors, our lawyers, our et cetera, et cetera. We have all of them here. So call upon them. And they are answering, a lot of them are answering the call of the community to come forth and present this type of information. So we're happy to see that, and we're definitely happy to help share that information to you all as well. Again, we want to thank our beloved guest, our special beloved guest, the doctor, Mubashir Uqdah, for joining us this evening. We appreciate him. We appreciate the work that he is doing, and we have to just do another plug to make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Study IWDM library. It is www.iwdmstudylibrary.com. Become a subscriber, check it out, take out a subscription for your family. You know, if you have an institution, look into an institution-based community partnership with the Study IWDM library. It is really thorough in its compilation in its resources of the Imam. So definitely check it out. And also, if you want to be a quality reviewer and help with this effort, please feel free to hit up Brother Mubashir Uqdah. He needs study. Some quality reviewers, never too many to have. If you have the tech knowledge, a grasp of the Imam's commentary and appreciation, I would say, for the Imam. Even if you have appreciation of the Imam and may not know everything about how the Imam spoke and the breakdown of that, don't worry about that. If you have a strong appreciation for the Imam in this community, I would strongly suggest you apply for to become a quality reviewer for the Study IWDM library.
And last but not least, this is New Africa August, and so we've been sharing institutions in our community to reinvigorate the spirit, as Imam Sharif Abdul Malik from We Buy Black has stated, reinvigorate the spirit in our community for progress by investing in ourselves, our family, and our community. So before we leave, can you please, as we've been asking all of our guests, what is New Africa?
Is that a question to me?
Yes.
Well, New Africa is interesting point. It's not, to me, it's not just a simple explanation, but I'm going to try to see if I can just give you the succinct idea. All right. So first ask yourself, what is old Africa? And if you go far back to what old Africa is, you go back before it's called Africa. And what you have are the original human beings that were on the planet. And those human beings were the ones that created civilization, that learned and studied and interacted with the natural world and discovered things and built things. And through their individual human qualities, abilities, and efforts, eventually over time grew and evolved society and civilization. And when you think about the great African heritage that we have, African civilizations, when we look at them, you have African civilizations that flourished, and then you have other African societies or groups that didn't do so well. They were all African. They were all in the same area, but some flourished, others didn't. What's the difference? The difference is that the ones who flourished were tapped into their human qualities and their human excellence. And so when Imam Muhammad talks about the New Africa, a big thrust of his teaching is to get us to return and recognize the true human excellence, tune into our human power, and then we will build what humans do. Humans can do all of these great things. And the New Africa is really when the African American, the Bilalian, the new people take on and tune back into their human quality, even above whether they're African or Black or whatever. But they get connected with what the human being can do. And then he produces a new culture, and he can run the businesses and build the institutions and do the research and produce a culture that produces excellence. And when that happens, I mean, we are already a very creative people as it is, but when that happens, we're going to have a culture and a society, and we will be a womb producing individuals of even greater talent and greater ability. So New Africa is when we are on that path and our human excellence has come out. We return to our original nature, and we're driving off of the healthy things that God put in this creation, and we mate with the creation in our human soul. And then what's produced, we'll be looking at African Americans as a group, not just individuals, but as a group. And we will see wonders produced from us, and it'll look like a new Africa will be our language. But we really will be helping lead humanity in its excellence.
And that's how you drop the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been here listening to New Freedom Exchange show on the home network of New Freedom Network. We thank our dear brother, Mubashir, Dr. Mubashir Imam with the IWDM Study Library. Until next time, peace. This is a selection we're going to play from, let's go with Bashir Jones, our dear brother who's running for mayor out in Cleveland, called Freedom. And we know freedom ain't free. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Alaikum assalam.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Bravo, I appreciate you, man. Mac, I appreciate you, man. Davey, what's up, man? It's our time, man. Listen to that. Jesse Jackson, he said that we are somebody. America treat us like we ain't nobody. We need help from somebody. I'm getting tired of seeing black bodies. We'll be okay, that's what my mama said. We unhealed, that's what the drama said. Yes, we can, that's what Obama said. American terror, that's what Osama said. You wanna break something, go and break the ceiling. You wanna start something, go and start the healing. How you wanna raise hell but won't raise your children? Wanna burn a building but won't start building. I want the violence to decrease, whether it's the streets or it's the police. Yo, be a real one, stay away from snakes. I gotta make a change, no time to waste.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Is it something that you hate, or something that you wanna be? Help me understand how you can be so mad at my existence. On our way to freedom, on our way to freedom, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our freedom. On our way to freedom, on our way to freedom, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our freedom.
The system ain't broken, doing what it's supposed to do, realest words spoken. Kill us in live and live in color, brother choking, called on his mother, dead in the open. Anybody go and break some glass. It take a real one, bro, to give a class. Anyone can pull a gun and start to blast, but it takes a real man to give a pass. Be proactive, not reactive. How I make a change, Mubaashir? Be active. Boy, you go and sell some dope, but won't go and vote. Father left early, he don't know how to cope. I came too far, boy can't fail. They said I'm a sellout. Shit, what I said? I don't never fold, I don't never fold. And what's not for sale, brother, is my soul. Question you gotta answer, brother, what's your goal? You wanna be a diamond or stay cold? You gotta change the system. Shit, you can break a window, but they gon' fix them. My point is, you expect a racist to change? He ain't the problem. You gotta change your brain. Benefit from oppression, but when you gon' change and learn the lesson? When you gon' realize that you a blessing? Gotta work, in the afterlife I'll do my resting. When you gon' realize that you the blessing? Gotta work, in the afterlife I'll do my resting. It's the truth.
Freedom is not won by a passive acceptance of suffering. Freedom is won by a struggle against suffering. Racial understanding is not something that we find, but something that we must create. What is needed is the realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against